How's it going, guys? Coach Pat here. Going to take a look at Ward, aka Jurassic. He's a Renegade Rowing Club member from Texas. So we're going to try and see if we can't help him out from afar. Looking at his stroke at full speed here, he's rowing at about a 30 stroke rating. Nice and smooth. Like the fairly level hands, he's sitting pretty tall. He's got good posture. Let's watch one more time. He's got a very good rhythm. Decent control. He's not in too much of a rush. All right, and we're going to go through it one more time now at about quarter speed. See if we can't pick up a few things that might help him get a little bit faster or become a little more efficient. First thing, in terms of posture, he's got good posture. Another thing we like to talk about is preparation. Are you preparing yourself for the next catch? So in terms of preparation, what I like to see is by half slide, when his shins are about 45 degrees to the floor, I want his body angle set, his arms ready, so that all he has to focus on as he approaches the catch is compressing his legs and timing it so that he's ready to push when his shins are vertical. So let's take a look at where he is at half slide. So we'll pause it right about here. So his shins are at 45 degrees, and you'll notice that his shoulder is behind his hip. So we'll draw a line here. And his posture is not quite vertical at this point. Ideally, by half slide, we like to see, depending on flexibility, his shoulder be in front of his hip. So if we were to draw another line, ideally, by half slide, his body angle is set at about, we'll draw the line about there. If we're looking at it this way, if there's a clock on the wall behind him, his body angle should be set at 11 o'clock from his hip to his shoulder by the time he reaches this point. So this is half slide. So let's just bring it back a little bit. And we'll just play it again at quarter slide. So by half slide, we want his body angle to be set and prepared at 11 o'clock. So we'll pause it, and we'll just kind of pause it here at the finish. So here's his finish. First thing that happens is his arms go away. He starts to sit up, but he starts moving his seat a little early. If he were to swing through his hip, right here through the back end, as his hands go away, if he were to swing through his hip and just sit up a little bit more before he let his seat slide forward, he'd be able to get his body prepared by half slide. Right now he's kind of just laying back a little too long, and that leads him to kind of just stay upright, which is not bad because he has good posture, so he's still able to push and get a good bit of power from his legs here at the catch. But at the catch, when the shins are vertical, you can see his body is sort of straight up and down, which is not bad. He's stacked. He's in a strong position. Nothing is changing through his midline, which is good. He's got a good solid brace, so he's getting a lot of power into that handle when he pushes. But if he were to get that 1 o'clock body angle by half slide and then maintain it up here at the catch, he'd get a little more length with his stroke up here, and he'd be able to use his body in the back end. So as he takes his stroke, as he comes back through half slide, back through here, he'd have more leverage with his body to accelerate that handle and move the handle faster from about here to here. Whereas right now it kind of just slows down because all he's doing is he's pushing with the legs and then he's pulling with the arms. There is a bit of a layback, so he gets his body into it a bit. But if he were to get over out of this finish and prepare his body by half slide to that 1 o'clock angle, that green line, he'd be able to get more leverage and more power on that handle on the next drive. So we're going to ask Ward to do a couple of drills this next week in his 10-minute warm-up. The first 5 minutes, I want him to actually practice the pick drill. So what we've been doing mostly right now in the Renegade Rowing Club is a reverse pick drill where we start with the legs only. I'm actually going to have Ward start his 5 minutes, or his first 5 minutes of his warm-up from back here. He's going to go arms only rowing, like that. Then he's going to add the body, go arms and body. And then he's going to add the legs up to half slide and go half slide rowing. And then he's going to go full slide rowing, all the way up, all the way back. And ideally, when he goes arms and body, he's going to keep the knees down. You'll see right here, out of the finish, he goes arms away, and then this is where he would start to swing through his hip and get his body over. At this point, his knees kind of just come up, and you'll see some strokes where they actually get in the way of his handle, so his chain will kind of jump up and down, and his hands will have to rise to go over his knees. So we want to keep those hands a nice straight path. So in that pick drill, if he can go arms away and go arms only rowing, and then add the bodies while keeping those knees down, all right, keeping those knees down the whole time, he'll feel a little bit more of a stretch in his hamstring, which is, you know, something that he'll notice, but it'll be a good cue for him to know that he's indeed getting his hands away and body over before he lets his seat move. And that'll help him get prepared by half slide by this point. So get his body over by half slide, and then keep that as he comes into the catch here. And that'll allow him to access a little bit more of his hamstring and get a little more leverage with the hips and the body as he comes through the drive. So he can get more power and more speed on that drive and bring the split even lower. So that's one thing. Let's take a look again. We'll go back to the beginning. And so at quarter speed, so keeping that good posture, he's going to work on getting his hands away and body over a little bit sooner so that his body is prepared by half slide at 11 o'clock. The other thing that he can fix while doing that drill is rowing feet out. So you'll notice that as he comes through the finish, he pulls his toes up and sort of has to rely on the foot straps to keep himself from falling backwards. So I want him to focus on actually pointing his toes and not relying on those foot straps as he comes through the finish. One thing I'm going to ask him to do as he does that, though, is to make sure he doesn't pull his body to the handle, but stays connected to the footboards, engages his legs and his abs, and pulls the handle all the way to the body. You'll notice here there's a little bit of it through the back end. Instead of keeping his knees down and keeping his body in that nice solid layback with good posture, he starts to sort of pull his body. You can see right there in that last frame, he starts to pull his body towards the handle before the handle gets in. It's not huge right now, but I can tell you when he takes his feet out and does that 5-minute warm-up, starting with the pick drill, arms only, then arms and body, then half slide, then full slide. When he does that feet out, there's a good chance he's going to fall backwards. So we're going to try and get him to fix that by pointing his toes as he comes through the finish and just engaging everything, being in a more solid position through the finish. Balanced on his sit bones, not falling backwards, and connected to those footboards. So those are two things I'm going to ask Ward to work on this week, and we'll get some more video of him and see if he can't make a change and make it permanent going forward. If you guys have any questions, shoot us an email, pat@renegaderowing.com, or post to the blog. Have a great week of training, and Jurassic, keep getting after it, bud. Looking good. All right, bye.